Hello, everyone. Welcome to Hispanic Conservative. This is Celia. How are you guys doing today? Man, oh man, what a busy day. What a busy day. Okay, first things first. I did a half a day today in the afternoon, the latter half of a day. So I was home kind of looking at some things while I was here. And one thing around here, it happened, let's see, today's Tuesday, so it was maybe Sunday I heard about this and it kind of rolled off. And I don't know how national it is, but this was in our local news here in San Antonio. There was a man from Laredo, Abelardo Herrera, who was found with, I guess, he had in possession on I don't know if it was his property or where he was, 52 illegals. 24 are found on a flatbed trailer. I don't know how you hide unless there's something on there and then maybe you have a cover over it. Maybe. Uh, 16 other illegals in his home, and then 12. I don't know. I remember them saying something about 12 in a car or something like that. Something in the car. Flatbed, the car, and the house. So 52 all at once. So he was arrested again because he had been arrested prior for the same thing. The guy just doesn't learn. But they did say he probably had some ties to the Mexican mafia. So I don't know. Um. Okay. So this morning I was watching the live now Fox. U.S. freezing almost all foreign aid except Israel and maybe some to Egypt. Agriculture, social, food, education, everything. Taliban, even the Taliban, because I don't know why or how it worked out this way, but somehow we're financing the Taliban too. So they're nice for our American tax dollars to go there. It's only supposed to be a 90-day pause. So there was a lot of Democrats in huffing and puffing about, oh, you can't stop the money for businesses, and then they'll go under because what did Chuck say? Something about them not being able to do day-to-day operations. I'm like, well, if you need the government to support your day-to-day operations, you're not really doing much on your own. You know, if you're a nonprofit, you should do more fundraising from private entities, right? Not expect the government to fund everything. And if you're a small business, then maybe it's the same thing, or change your business model or something. Instead of having a brick and mortar, maybe just do online, whatever it is. If you have a full big restaurant, maybe make it smaller or get a food truck or find a spot somewhere. I don't know. Some way that you can make it cheaper and still afford to pay your own bills, right? Okay. Just to present. This was something I saw. Okay, this one thing I saw on YouTube yesterday, and I'm gonna have to look into it more because I don't know exactly what the details on this is. But it says the payer of child support can claim the child on their income tax return, right? So I'm guessing if you're the single parent, father or mother, if you're the single parent, then of course you can claim the person if you're not getting any money from the other half of the bearer of the genes of this particular little one. But that sounds interesting. I mean, that's good for dads, right? Because if they pay money to child support, they ought to be able to claim the kid. That's crazy. Um, U.S. public health officials have been told to stop working with the World Health Organization immediately. No more. Don't call me anymore. But that's good because, I don't know how the WHO works, but it seems to me they use a lot of scare tactics. You know, oh, if you don't do this, and you have to wear a mask, or you have to get this thing, or you have to, I don't know, do whatever we say, and take this pill or take this whatever to keep whatever from spreading. A lot of that stuff that they told us before in 2021 or 2020. didn't do much to help spread it. It was a bunch of baloney. So these Democrats were complaining about the federal cutoff of money and how will people survive daily operations? Okay, like I said, to me, if they need government to help them run their business, not just aside for, I mean, if they need the government money to pay their rent and pay their labor, pay the cost of goods sold or whatever it is, I mean, you got a problem if you're not if you're depending only on government money. Because what if there is no government money? Which is the whole point of this thing. We voted Donald Trump because we want to cut spending. Okay? This is what, I don't know, Democrats, get that in your head. We want Donald Trump to stop the spending. This is how you do it. You have to stop all this garbage, even food stamps, all this. Everybody should be working. If you're able to work, you should work. I'm tired of working, but I have to work because I have a bills to pay and I have a mortgage to pay and, insurance and food and gas and everything. I mean, we all know what we have to pay and we're living like, am I going to have enough? Am I going to have enough? Am I going to have enough? Oh, or they don't survive. Thanks to Donald Trump. Or if they go under, thanks to Donald Trump. He did this whole thing, a bunch of one-liners, and thanks to Donald Trump. We voted for him for a reason. So you can just sit down and shut your mouth and vote yes, because we don't want to hear what you have to say anymore. We're done with you, Chuck and company. Chucky Chuck. Oh, but he's going to take the money and he's going to give it to the mega corporations, the big businesses, and all his billionaire friends. Let me tell you something. The last time Donald Trump he did a tax cut, I was I benefited from that. I benefited from that. The difference between my gross and my net did increase because of those tax cuts. So these Democrats will keep saying, "Oh, it's only the rich people and the billionaires that are going to get the tax cut and they're going to get more money or they're going to whatever." They need to shut up and listen to people like me and probably some of you other people too. You can put it in the comments. If you remember when Donald Trump came in the first term and we got that tax cut, the tax breaks, and it helped. And I remember my sister even asking me the first year of Donald Trump in his first term, what has Donald Trump done for you? And I told her it was the tax cuts because then I had more money. I had more take home pay, is what it was. Now, I remember that clearly because she asked me about it. Yeah. So them always coming out and saying it's for the billionaires and their friends and da 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 da. Donald Trump likes to hang out with the common man, the common person. He gets along with the guys that would work on his construction site, right? The guys that drove the big trucks, the big scoop things, the cranes, the construction dudes, chicks, whatever. He's the kind of guy that gets along with it. That's how I am. Sometimes, when I was a teacher, I just couldn't stand administrators. They were just, and like they want you to kiss their ass all the time. And I'm like, I'm not kissing anybody's ass. It's not, no. Which is probably the reason why they didn't like me, because I'm not going to go over there and kiss ass and, oh, hey, how was your weekend? And, this and that. No. And I just would be just, okay. How you doing? Okay, fine. Walk by him in the hall and not be all personal. It's just none of your business. I don't want to know your business either. You know, me with administrators, I'm just like, just stick to business and move on, because I don't want to know anything about you. No, thank you. I'm like, no. I get along. I mean, as a college graduate, I get along better with people that I know that even have not graduated even high school. You know, I've been out with some guys who didn't even finish high school, but they were nice guys. Anyway, on to the next thing. Sean Duffy, confirmed as the Secretary of Transportation. So that was today. Before I went to my job today, in the afternoon. They were in the vote. So I didn't know until I got home what exactly happened. Doomsday clock that went from 90 seconds down to 89 seconds. So we're in peril, everyone. It's climate change. I don't know. I mean, it could be nuclear weapons, it could be economic. There's going to be some stuff happening, economically speaking, financial speaking. So people ought to be, what's the word I want to say? Prepping for. I mean, we're already in kind of bad times, but if you have a chance to buy extra food, you should probably buy some extra food and make sure it's food that you actually eat and food that'll last on a shelf for a while, a good shelf life. Okay. Google changed, is going to change, or has, or will have by the time maybe you even see this, changed Denali to Mount McKinley and Gulf of Mexico to Gulf of America. You know why he changed it to Gulf of America? A lot of people, and after I saw that, they had like a survey on the news, like, do you think that he should have done Gulf of Mexico to Gulf of America? And only like 30 people said yes, and 60 something people said no. But you don't know why he said that. Why did he make Gulf of Mexico to Gulf of America? Because Biden signed something, and I don't know if it was an EO or a law that went through Congress. He passed the whatever he signed that to forbid or prohibit, however you want to word it, drilling in the Gulf of Mexico, oil, right, for petroleum. So we're not drilling in the Gulf of Mexico. We'll be drilling in the Gulf of America. So that whole thing doesn't even kiss my grits. You know what I'm saying? So I mean, you gotta outdo the dude. But that was funny. So there's a lot of things going on. It's really weird right now. It's starting to get foggy out here. I think there's a lot of clouds coming in, cloud cover coming in from the Gulf of America. Coming into Texas off the coast, and it's giving us fog. So we're going to have fog around here for a while at least, and we're supposed to have rain. I'm looking at the weather on my weather bug. Yeah, but I was like, what does this thing mean right here? It's got a cloud. What is it? Like a cloud looking thing in a circle with some lines underneath. Oh, that's the fog. That's the thing that means fog, right? So 51, it's going to be cold tomorrow. And I thought it was going to rain today. Tomorrow should be cloudy, maybe some rain, only 25, 30%. So it won't be so bad. But it's going to hit like 80 degrees by Sunday or Monday. It's going to be up there, up in the upper 70s. And it says 80 on Monday. So I don't know, I'm like, great. Back to the air conditioner after I've been using the heater. I just had the heater on. It's funny in San Antonio and probably some other places. It's cold in the morning, so we have the heat on. And by the time we get home in the afternoon, we have to turn on the AC. It's just it's just one of those things that happens, I don't know. If it happens in your where you live, you can put that down in the comments. That'd be good to know where that happens too, because we get weather from your direction. We get weather from coming in from the Gulf. We get weather coming from like the polar what do you call it, the polar, coming from the north, and it swings towards south and going eastward, like it crosses over San Antonio towards Dallas and goes that direction to the east. Or we get some stuff from the Pacific, so it comes from like the side of Baja California across, and sometimes crosses over Texas, and we get clouds or whatever. That's how we get the La Nina El Nino around here, because it comes from that direction. So that affects our weather a lot too. So we get a lot of everything here. So we've already had snow. It's going to be 80 degrees this weekend and sunny. So, it's going to be interesting. And then we're probably going to get another freezing cold weather in another week or so. So it's never boring, the weather. You can never put away unless you're sure it's in the middle of, even in April it can be cold here. May, June, July, August, September, October, November. But even in sometimes in November, it's still hot here. It's in the at least the 90s in November. So anyway, that's the way it is. That's all the news I have for today, because there was a lot going on, and I'm like, oh, okay. So they're talking about Donald Trump and what was it? getting rid of income tax. Okay, so here's the deal. The income tax. Okay, this is what I heard today. Two times we had income tax imposed on us, right? For the Civil War to help fund that, and it was cut off, and then they what do you call it? Was it a law or was it just, I don't remember. But anyway, so then they stopped doing that. And then it was again 1913, but we know what happened in 1913. It's when we got off the gold standard also. Standard, the gold standard also. Um, but they're saying probably too because we were getting involved in World War One. So I know when we got off the gold standard, that's when we started paying the taxes to the bankers, and you know what I mean? And credit cards and all this kind of thing, which is why we're going into the G slash N, the N slash, is it N slash G um, thing where we won't have any debt and all that kind of thing. So this is part of it. I think this is where we're going. This is where we're supposed to be with no income tax, no wars. Everybody has to be in their home country, right? For the cha-ching. And there were some other things, that have to go on. But if we cut out, okay, so like what I said earlier, you're cutting off government spending on all these programs. The only reason you do that is because you're taking income tax from us. So if you stop taking income tax from us, you have to stop paying all this garbage and foreign aid and food stamps and all that. Everybody who's able should work. And you know what? If you have a problem, you should not be having 8 kids on your own and then getting whatever amount of money on food stamps and rent, and all this public assistance stuff. That's a joke. And for me, I've never been on anything government anything. Even when I was in college and I was struggling, I never got on food stamps. I had to figure a way to pay my stuff, pay my rent, pay my bills, keep my car. And there was some rough times there. And like I even mentioned here before, even recently in the past year or two, almost like losing my place. And what am I going to do? Live in my car? And I've seen a lot of videos on YouTube and from TikTok, people who are living in their car. They can't afford rent. And some places are like an efficiency for $2,000. I mean, I see these videos in New York, and they're little places for $2,000 a month. You're crazy. Mm, I think I pay enough here. My HOA is like $400 a month. My mortgage is $750 a month. My electric bill normally it's about 50 something dollars, but I've been using the heater a lot, so it's going to be more coming this month. The food, the electricity, the water's part of the HOA, but then I still need to buy food. I still need to buy, like shampoo, conditioner, all that kind of stuff. I mean, I don't use that much. It's mostly, I already have a big container still of natural laundry soap of Nellie's. I'm not even halfway through the one that I have, that I've been using it for almost 2 years. That stuff lasts forever if you get the big bucket of Nellie's. And then I think I have another one in my storage along with my food. And so I use that, you know. Um, I don't buy a lot of stuff. Well, I buy a lot of beauty, collagen, retinol, that kind of thing is where I think I spend most of my money. I haven't bought any new clothes in about 4 years, 3 or 4 years. Well, I did buy one Irish sweater, but it's wool and I think it's worth the cost, right? About $140 for a wool sweater, but that thing's going to last a long time. And it does keep me warm. So I've come to the decision that I'm gonna have to, when I buy something expensive, especially clothing, it's gonna have to be something that is worth it. And I value now. If I had known it when I was younger, I would have bought wool and down when I was much younger. I had no idea because we don't need it normally down here in Texas. It's really hot. But lately, 2020, 2021 is when it snowed. We had the snowmageddon. Right. Before then, we didn't have snow since, like, I don't know, what was it, 1985? I remember that. Uh, and that was a big one. And then now now we're getting cold weather more often. But here's the other thing, the poles are shifting, they say. So, and this is the reason why Trump wants to get Greenland, because if you look at, well, okay, if you follow the flat earth, that's a whole other thing. But if you look at that map, and if you know that this is only the land that we know and there's other lands beside around it, if you look at the reflection on the moon, there's only certain land that we are on and there's other lands, but that piece is moving around with the sun and the moon is moving around as it goes. Anyway, it's a whole other you'd have to watch this Phil video about it, and it explains a lot. And if you know that the pole is shifting, it's not a north and south on a ball thing. It's shifting around on the plane. Okay. So, I mean, you can tell me what you think. I don't think you're gonna convince me otherwise. But if you ever seen, there's a couple of videos from me, Warren, on. You'd have to look at those. They're not on YouTube because they don't want that information here. So who knows if this video will get blocked, but you know, I'll have to mention it again on another video then. Anyway, so I don't get too much into the weeds. I better get out of here. It's almost 22 minutes. Okay, I hope y'all have a good week. I'll see what news I can find by tomorrow. I'm going to be working full days the rest of the week, so it's going to be hard for me to get on again. But anyway, this is Celia with Hispanic Conservative, and I am out. Ciao.